It's time for another Tuespükie question. Then I'm going to take out of this hat here. You.
What really happened
To the Headless Horseman's head?
That comes to us from Mary Bevan on Twitter. Thank you so much for the question. And you too can send us questions via the comments section below, Twitter or Facebook. So go ahead if you're feeling questiony at home. We're gonna just go on a completely alternate theory because I'm aware that the Headless Horseman has lost his head at some point in his time, but I have no idea how, and I'm assuming it's missing. So here we go, everybody. We're in for a ride.
I never really read the book, so I'm not really sure exactly what happened to the headless, or to the horseman's head.
My assumption, I'm trying to remember the movie. If I remember correctly, in the movie, whoever has the horseman's head controls the horseman.
I would imagine that it's like just locked away somewhere, kind of like what's his face? Davy Jones, how his heart was like in the chest and then they buried it somewhere.
So here's my theory, because I understand this is old-timey as fuck. So the Headless Horseman was a cook for some asshole back in the day rich people, and we all know those people were like the shittiest possible people to work for.
I'd imagine the guy's head is like that. It's in a cabinet or something in like a witch's hut, and she's keeping it safe for him so that he can immortally roam the earth and take other people's heads.
So like you tell it who to kill, and it's kind of like, I'm trying to remember what movie. Oh, it's like in the Suicide Squad. Like if you own the Enchantress's heart, you control the Enchantress. Same concept with it, except this time it's heads.
It seems a little bit dickish on his part. It's like, hey, I don't have a head, but I willingly gave mine up. But you're not gonna have a head, but I'm just gonna fucking take it.
But how funny would it be if it's like everyone's assumption of how the Headless Horseman like lost his head in like a battle where, you know, someone sliced off his head. It was like just like this wild misconception.
He's in the kitchen cooking one day, thinking about how much he hates his asshole homeowners that he's working for, and like he comes up with a plan to like poison them or something like that, and instead what happens is he accidentally spills some water and he's going to clean it up, and oh, what is this? He slips and oh, all the knives, I don't even know where they fucking come from, but all the knives just come down, lop his fucking head off.
In the South Park episode where Mr. Mackey's head just flew away like a balloon, where he took a lot of LSD, I'd like to think that could have been the case.
Let's say it's dinner time. They finally come in to be like, hey, what the fuck? You know, you're fired. He's in there dead on the floor, and they're like, well, fuck, who's gonna cook our food now? And they just kind of have someone shove his body outside and like make a teensy little hole in the ground for him and toss him in there.
Maybe he's like, it's like the Islander and he needs heads in order to power his immortality. Like he gave up his head, and that was good for a little bit. But he continually needs heads in order to fuel that, so that he can just continue to take heads.
And the horseman's body is just going around killing people because, you know, the body's just on some major acid trip that will not ever end, so it's just going crazy.
So he's pissed at this point. He comes back for vengeance upon them. And I know he uses some type of blade, so we're just gonna go with the butcher knife because I'm assuming those existed back then. He's gonna come back with a butcher knife and he's gonna be after all these people because he wants his fucking head back.
What if it was like something like super like ridiculous? Like he just shoved his head up someone's ass and it kind of snapped off or something like that? What if that was the real reason? Like, I feel like that would be a much more compelling story nowadays, because I mean, we've heard the Headless Horseman story so many times. I'm looking for the butt-face horseman.
But for whatever reason, the guy who buried him has taken his head and done something awful with it. We're gonna just assume some form of necrophilia at this point, because I don't even know where to fucking go with this.
I'd like to also think that it's pulling a Jeepers Creepers kind of thing, where the Jeepers Creepers monster is trying to find find body parts just to replenish itself or whatever, to just to keep itself fresh. I'd like to think that the Headless Horseman is trying to find somebody's head that fits.
Yeah, the Headless Horseman's kind of stupid, isn't it?
So we got Necrophilia Jim over here doing God knows what with his head. He's over here butchering fucking rich people in their house because he has no idea where the fuck his head is. And he's just like, what the hell, guys? What is happening? You desecrate my corpse, and here we are.
That movie was kind of fucked up. I mean, especially that part in Jeepers Creepers 2 where the monster bites this guy's head off, and then the guy's head just like comes out of the monster's stomach and just replaces the monster's old head.
So he's in there just stabbing and shanking people away and trying to find his head, but to no avail. And I do not know how the story ends, but I'm assuming when he gets his vengeance on these rich folk, he just kind of goes back to zombie hell, wherever that might be.
The horseless Headless Horseman was much better, where he was just a head. Or what was it? No, the horseless Headless Horseman, that's from Team Fortress 2.
You know, actually that might be a porn. Google it. Let me know. Put it in the comments below. Is that a porn? Butt-face horseman? I feel like it should be.
I don't remember what that one was. It was like a candy commercial, and he was just a giant head. That one was a lot better. He had like arms. It was pretty fucking great.
His head stays with Necrophilia Jim, and I don't know if it just decomposes over time, or does he have a way to keep that head nice and fresh for his unsavory dealings?
But yeah, no, I would imagine the Headless Horseman's just like an old-timey Davy Jones, where his head is somewhere, and if you manage to find it, like, that's how you kill him. You destroy his head, and then like your head has to take the place of that head, and then you become the new Headless Horseman.
LSD and Jeepers Creepers. I mean, I guess that's how I would want the Headless Horseman's head to be missing. I don't know. I wasn't really prepared to answer this question anyway, so that was just my best shot.
Although, I guess then you wouldn't have to take the heads, and you could not be a dick and end up like Orlando Bloom, where he's not a squid monster.
We'll go ahead and go with Necrophilia Jim has his head, and he got his vengeance, but he's back to sleep now, and he really doesn't care about his head anymore because fuck those people, basically. That's where my story goes. I have no idea how the story goes, but I think that sounds pretty cool, so we'll go with that.
Getting back to the point. I really don't think that there was a rest of my thoughts, so I'm thinking we're just gonna end it right there, to be honest.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and if you enjoyed today's video, you can let us know by leaving a comment, perhaps liking the video, or dropping a subscribe so you can keep up with the rest of our content.
I feel like it would be the ultimate if they subscribed.
Yes.
So like, what more could you do for us? Send money.
Yeah. Send help.
Send help. SOS. You know, you could tell us what you think happened to the Headless Horseman's head. Whether, you know, you actually know, because you know of that story, or if you want to make up a cool one, make up a cool origin story for the Headless Horseman, because that's old enough now that, like, nobody really cares, right?
I don't even know it.
Yeah, so, you know, we need, like, Headless Horseman origins to tell us, like, the new badass, dark, gritty reboot of the Headless Horseman.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, there was that weird Fox show where he was, like, in the present day.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, and then, like, everyone died but they came back because the guy from Fringe could, like, eat marshmallows with people's souls. It was a weird fucking show. I only caught bits and pieces of it because my dad used to watch it. But, yeah.
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. But yeah, you know, likes. Give us. They can't do that. Unlike and then re-like again if you find these endings entertaining, because then we'll get the notification and be like, yeah, he saw it. It was great.